All right. Well, I'm here with Valerie Durham. Valerie is the executive director of Freedom Fest. I'm going to bring her up. Freedom Fest was in Nashville, I think, 2 years ago. This year, it's in Memphis. So we're going to learn about we're going to learn more about Freedom Fest.
Hi.
Valerie,
Yeah, Davis, so nice to be here with the Pamphleteer. I'm excited.
yeah, thanks for joining. Um,
Absolutely.
as I mentioned, like I think 2 years ago, Freedom Fest was in Nashville.
Actually, I think that was LibertyCon. Our good friends at Student for Liberty
Oh,
had their conference there in the stadium, in the baseball stadium, and invited a bunch of students and had a really great event. We've actually been in Las Vegas since 2007 when we started. And uh, when they shut us down, Governor Sisolak during the pandemic wouldn't let us have our conference in 2020. uh, Governor Nome up in South Dakota said, "Hey, come on up. We're open in South Dakota." So we went there and we really liked being somewhere else. So
wow.
now we flip between Vegas and somewhere else interesting. And Tennessee was on our radar. And we ended up picking Memphis, which I know is a little bit of a drive from Nashville, but we were really intrigued with the history in Memphis and Graceland and all of that. And have been a lot of Liberty events in Nashville, so we were like, let's move a little west and see what Memphis has to offer. But we love Tennessee, we love Tennesseans, and just a fantastic state and a great place to have Freedom Fest.
For those that don't know, tell us what is Freedom Fest.
Absolutely. So, Freedom Fest is a once a year conference that celebrates all aspects of liberty and freedom. So, we don't just obviously, political freedom is incredibly important, and we talk about that and address issues around policy and politics. But honestly, freedom affects every part of our lives. So, we look at the economics of freedom, your financial freedom, your health freedom. What choices are you making in terms of your health care, your nutrition, your fitness? What are your social and cultural freedoms? How do you get to associate? What's your freedom of expression? What is your artistic freedom? And then we look at issues of business, entrepreneurialism, issues of drug legalization, criminal justice reform, education reform is huge for us. So we look at what is your liberty lifestyle across the board, not just politically, but in so many ways we embrace freedom in all other aspects of our lives. And we talk about all of that at Freedom Fest.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a list of speakers: Mike Rowe, Matt Taibbi. Is that how you say his name?
Taibbi, yeah, it's got a little EB
Taibbi.
in there. Yep,
Michael Schellenberger, who I
yep,
love. Tulsi Gabbard, Grover Norquist, legend, Art
yes.
Laffer. Oh, I
Mhm.
think Stephen Moore. A lot of our viewers are going to be familiar with a lot of those names because I
Yeah, we
know
really
Art.
get the Liberty Heroes coming to Freedom Fest.
Yeah. So how do you what's kind of the criteria you use for inviting guests?
So we really look for thought leaders and experts, again, who can address multiple different issues. The big thing at Freedom Fest is that, there's a lot of political rhetoric out there and a lot of divisiveness. So we look for people who understand liberty principles and are trying to come together in a format of open conversation and civil discourse to have conversations about important issues. And that's why like someone like Michael Schellenberger is so important, because he looks at climate change in a really different way. He's not an alarmist, or was, but has kind of toned that back because he saw the human toll and the toll on freedom that some of these climate change regulations were taking. And he said, wait a second here, that doesn't make sense. We can address being good stewards of our planet without penalizing business and penalizing the way human beings live. Let's find a good balance here. So those are the kinds of people we look for, people who have a strong value in freedom, but we also look for people who maybe approach it from a little different way and are willing to have the conversation. We love debates at Freedom Fest, but they're not your typical like talking points, yelling at each other kind of thing that you'll see on a lot of media stations. We
Hmm.
have real substantive conversations, and then let the attendee kind of have their takeaway and see what they learn, see if they change their opinion. Maybe they are more entrenched in what they already know to be true, you know? There's like kind of like we invite people with free minds, open minds who want to have real conversations to come to Freedom Fest, whether it's a speaker or attendee or exhibitor. Are you open to having conversations with other people?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much COVID kind of brought out some of these like freedom tendencies in various people. I know, like with Schellenberger in particular, I don't think he was ever super outspoken about COVID policy, but it seemed like he kind of emerged in that time when people were
Yeah.
more seriously thinking about these things. And
I think it
um,
disrupted everything, and we all had to think. I mean, look at the impact on school choice, and that's
yeah,
another thing we're doing at Freedom Fest this year. We're looking at Education Day is happening on Saturday. Ed Choice is coming. Corey DeAngelis is coming. Carrie McDonald is coming. A whole host of other real reform leaders in the education movement are going to be there on Saturday. Some of the governors that have been leading the charge in school choice will be there, and that is such an important topic that the pandemic showed everybody the some of the absolute craziness in our public school systems and the fact
yeah,
that school choice is possible and effective.
right. Yeah, I think it brought out, not even related to health in particular, but just kind of brought out tendencies. I mean, you either like doubled down on being an authoritarian or kind of went the other direction.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
I'm at you. You guys obviously tend towards the latter.
Yes, that is true. That is very true.
So there's guests across the spectrum. You have some political guests, some financial guests,
Mhm.
creative guests. I see Afro Man.
Yeah.
Um, Afro Man. What's his deal? I haven't.
So
I saw
he's
Afro
coming.
Man in college at a frat party,
Oh
but
my, I know. He's been in our world for quite a while, but is still really relevant and talking about in a satirical way in many cases the absolute craziness of government impact on our lives. He does that through the lens of drug legalization and different things. But he's running for president, so he's
really,
gonna have, yeah. So he's going to have his campaign there, but he's going to sit down with some of our people from the foundation from the fire group, and he's going to talk about some of the impacts that we see around, I think, the higher level philosophy around why it's important to have individual choice in our lives. um, but
it's
he's also going to, we're doing a bunch of pop-up performances. One of the things we like to do at Freedom Fest is explore the arts, so we're going to have live music performances, and Afro Man has agreed to come give a little pop-up performance. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I can't wait to see it.
is fire an acronym for financial independence, or is
It
it something
is,
else?
I always, oh my gosh, you're really calling me out right now, and I'm going to get in so much
That's why
trouble.
we do this
They
show.
are an amazing group. I do have to say, they are an amazing group that deals with, like in education, the right for freedom of expression in education.
I see.
That's really what they're
There,
all
there's
about.
there's there's an acronym that would kind of gel with uh, Freedom Fest well, which is financial independence, retire early.
Yeah,
Um, you
you
know,
are so. That's awesome.
but those guys, I think keep to the internet. I don't know if they ever go outside. Just
It's the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, and they do a lot of work in higher education to make sure that the rights of students and that there's diversity of thought in higher education. But they are the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, and I apologize to Fire for not letting that roll off my tongue because they are an amazing sponsor and an amazing organization.
well. So is there a particular focus that you guys have emphasized? We just went through kind of the various you know subjects that you guys deal in. Is there one in particular that sticks out this year?
So our theme this year is the soul of liberty. And I feel like post pandemic, exactly what you were referencing, Davis, people are really reevaluating the role of government in their lives, the role of choice, and how we want to manage our lives going forward. Been a huge shift in how people interact with each other. I mean, look, I wasn't doing a bunch of Zoom calls before the pandemic.
Here you
I,
are in one now.
I life has changed as a result of this, and I think there are a lot of people really calculating what level do I have of liberty do I have in my life, and what role do I want it to play. So that is the theme that is running through all of these sessions.
Hmm.
And I feel like depending on where you are in your life, and that's what I love about Freedom Fest, is no matter who, if you're a business leader, if you're a retiree, if you're a student or young professional, there are different ways that you're looking at liberty, and we're addressing all of those at Freedom Fest. But we're trying to get back to that essence. What is liberty for? What is freedom about? And how does it apply in your life? And we're going to try to address that in all these different ways at Freedom Fest, but getting that crux of what is the soul of liberty all about.
Hmm. Is there anything recently that you've identified as kind of, I mean, obviously, like we discussed earlier, COVID was health. It does seem recently that financial freedom has
Mm,
become somewhat of a, with the financial policy of the Federal Reserve being
it's horrendous, and I
from
think people
like,
are really feeling the pinch, and that's one thing also that we're really addressing at Freedom Fest. We understand inflation's a problem. We understand that the volatility of the stock market creates opportunity, but it can also be very devastating if you don't navigate it correctly, and that is why we have the Global Financial Summit. It is an investment conference that runs through the entire conference, and it addresses, again, if you're a new investor starting out, if you're a very experienced high net worth investor, we have different experts and advice for you. So when you come to Freedom Fest, you're going to come away with knowing how to navigate these awful economic policies, both that came out of the pandemic, and we're dealing with the repercussions of all of those payouts that were going out like crazy. I mean, those stipends that came from the government are part of what's causing, well, a huge part of what's causing the inflation now, and the continuing policies of the Biden administration are really impacting our wallet. So that's one reason we infuse Freedom Fest with a lot of knowledge. So if you get yourself to Freedom Fest, you're going to get armed with a lot of great information from a liberty perspective of how to create wealth, preserve wealth, and move forward in terms of giving yourself financial independence, which is what makes you so much more resilient when it comes to government policies. If you
mhm.
have that resiliency of knowing how to manage your money from a liberty perspective, you are going to be much safer in your wallet and in your portfolio moving forward. So I definitely recommend anyone who's concerned about finances come to Freedom Fest and do that whole track, and you will be like, you'll be so thrilled. You know what I mean?
That's like just maybe a stage within the
Yeah,
festival.
it's a dedicated room. We also have people on the main stage that talk about investments. We actually kick off the conference Thursday morning with the Global Economic Summit with people like Steve Four and Steve Moore, Barbara Colm from over in Europe. We give a huge overview of where the economics are going and where the opportunities are, and then from there we go into investment advice on the main stage and in the Global Financial Summit room. And then we follow it up with our exhibit hall, which we call our trade show for liberty. There's a whole section called the free market. You can
Mm.
literally go in, talk to Bitcoin people, talk to gold dealers, talk to oil and gas people. You can talk to financial services, tax strategies companies. They're all there, and they can actually give you advice. You can work with them. You can partner with them. There are investment opportunities actually in our exhibit hall that are hard to find other places.
What about
So,
underground? Are there any underground digital publications there?
oh God, well, maybe I wouldn't know. They probably wouldn't tell me.
Well, maybe we have a
I'm
booth.
the man when it comes to Freedom
We
Fest.
we might have a booth there. I just haven't told you about it. I was gonna
Yeah, yeah, let's
surprise
do it
you
in
at
the
the end.
underground.
Um, well, okay, so Memphis, it's in Memphis this year,
Yeah,
and I think like is the idea that on even years you do it in Las Vegas, odd years, is that
correct. Yeah, yes. On election years, we're in Vegas, a little bigger venue. A lot of politicians want to come into Vegas, and then on odd years, we like to go places that are places that maybe this happened in South Dakota. So many people told us, I've never been to Mount Rushmore. And now I have a reason. I can go to Freedom Fest and go to Mount Rushmore. Similarly, Graceland, Beale Street, Memphis is a place that
yeah.
lots of people have been to Nashville. Not as many people have been to Memphis. And we really felt like the history there, and actually that the fact that blues, soul, to a certain extent, gospel, rock and roll all came from this spontaneous collaboration of people from different backgrounds working together is kind of a manifestation of what we think the free market is to begin with and how society is supposed to be.
Mm.
We don't need to be regulated. We don't need to be forced. We don't need to be indoctrinated into interacting with each other. What we need to do is find where we all have our advantages, what we can contribute, our different talents and resources, and we come together and create something better and larger than ourselves. That's the free market. That's the invisible hand. And that's how so much of the music and the history in Memphis came together. And we really wanted to honor that tradition and history that happens to be there. along the Mississippi.
I mean, yeah, Memphis has a pretty remarkable artistic history that I think goes very unnoticed. I mean, the city, I think has had its issues, but I mean that lineage is it's undefeated, as I
It
would say.
and I've been on Beale Street multiple times now visiting Memphis, and every time I just have the most excellent musical experience.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just super, super fun. And honestly, it's a little bit too of putting our money where our mouth is. We believe that liberty frees people's lives and makes it better. The free market and capitalism done correctly, not crony capitalism, not lobbyist capitalism, all that stuff, but real free market economics, real choice, real incentivization of people's lives to get better, real educational choice is what liberates people and elevates them and brings families together and allows them to succeed. And we really want to see that. So we wanted to bring Freedom Fest to have these conversations in Memphis and invite the community to come in, have these conversations with us, and just talk about what we really believe in. And I think that's a really exciting opportunity.
So, uh, also, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here.
Yeah,
You guys have a film festival. I have a
we
film background, so
do.
I'm
Oh gosh, the Anthem Film Festival started in 2010, and it is an amazing festival that runs alongside Freedom Fest. You can go to it as its own thing, and there's a pass for that, or you can join Freedom Fest in general, and then the Anthem Film Festival is included. But it's a fully juried film festival where people submit from all over the world films that address issues of choice, accountability, responsibility, individuality. So you don't have to be a liberty person. There could be someone who just creates a movie that has those themes in it, and we accept them. And it's a really beautiful way to message so many things. And what's great is that rather than just having a talk back at the end, you'll see a movie or even a series of movies along a particular topic, and then the filmmakers and other experts from the Freedom Fest slate of speakers will come and do a panel discussion. So you really get to get in depth with some of the movies that are shown there. There's a huge range of great movies being shown, some Iranian films that are always fantastic. Unredacted is coming, which was canceled at South by Southwest and Sundance. It talks about how to reacclimate some of the people that were held in, yeah, excellent, bringing that up. So some of the people that were held in Guantanamo Bay, how do you reacclimate them back into society? And it was canceled because the lady who made it was a white American, and people felt like that was inappropriate.
Hmm.
But it's a great film, and we accepted it, and I hope everyone comes and sees it. We have books, movies about the role of fatherhood in society. We have movies about how the incarceration problem and what do we do as people are incarcerated unfairly in the criminal justice system, which is another big issue that I think is really being talked about now. Again, appropriate for Memphis to talk about policing and different issues there. We really want to bring attention to that issue because it plagues a lot of communities in our society, and we need to be talking about that. We have a couple a movie about produced by Steven Soderbergh, movie on like Calvin Coolidge. I mean the rain. You could sit in the Anthem Film Festival room for all of Freedom Fest and be absolutely thrilled with everything that you're going to see there.
It's interesting. I keep hearing people. It seems like people have started to really revisit Calvin Coolidge's presidency. That's something
Yes.
I need to brush up on, but I keep seeing him mentioned.
Yeah, he is being revisited, which is really interesting when we go back to certain presidents and kind of reevaluate contextually what their contribution was, especially compared to like maybe current presidents. You look back, he wasn't so bad,
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
thing. But Amity Schlaze is going to be with us, and Steve Forbes are both going to be talking about the Calvin Coolidge presidency after
oh,
the
really?
showing of the film. Yeah, it's going to be super. It's actually, I think it's the film we kick off with on Wednesday.
Interesting.
So definitely worth checking out.
All right, yeah, I'll do some reading tonight so that I don't.
Oh, and I don't know if you're also going to bring up, but we also do the Punching Up Comedy Festival.
I did not. I did not have that in my notes. Tell us
Oh
about
my
it.
gosh. So if not on okay, so I have to say, I really feel like the comedians are leading the charge against cancel culture. More
Before
so,
before you
uh-huh,
start, I like the name Punching Up because my main thing is if you're trying to be funny, you never punch down
right.
ever. I mean, that's like the number one thing you don't do is punch
That's
down.
so yeah, it's an easy shot.
Yeah. So
You gotta
anyway, I
punch up.
appreciate that.
Thank you. So we are punching up, and it's all we have a bunch of comedians come. They talk about the value of political satire, expression, the value of being uncensored in your political expression. And so we have panels about that. And then Friday night we're doing two full stand-up shows. The first one's a little more family friendly for those who don't like, the Lenny Bruce kind of experience. And
Uh-huh.
then the later show's unrestricted, and that's being headlined by Doug Stanhope. And we have Camilla
Oh,
Cleese
cool.
coming, John Cleese's daughter. She's hilarious. And a bunch of Lou Perez, Brittany Hunter. There's just a ton of great comedians. We have like 10, 11, 12 comedians coming between those two shows. And it's going to be phenomenal. You can get a ticket just by itself without coming to Freedom Fest. If you go to that page under program on our website,
Hmm.
and you can come to the show by itself. You can come to Freedom Fest and get a ticket and see both, whatever you like to do. But that is going to be fantastic. And between Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, now Roseanne Barr has come back out, and she was canceled for something she said. Her new special is "Cancel This." I mean, I really think the comedians are the ones holding the line and
Yeah.
saying, we cannot kowtow. The right to offend is important. And being offended is not we got to learn to deal with that,
Yeah.
and to talk back, not fight back, but talk back.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm really proud of our comedy festival. So if you love to laugh, please come out. It's going to be hilarious.
That sounds like that's like an auxiliary event. Are there parties that go on separate from the
Yeah,
festival? There's other
definitely every night.
like
We've
some
got
like unaffiliated organizations will throw a party, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a bunch of our sponsors, like the Libertarian Party of Tennessee, is going to be throwing their own party. Multiple sponsors have receptions, parties. We have a bunch of parties and things that we do. The comedy festival, actually, we're arranging a jam session so that all of our attendees and speakers who are musicians can come do a jam session together on Beale Street, probably Thursday night. We're still working on that. But there's a party going on at Westie's for young professionals Wednesday night. They're doing something over at the Pyramid. I think that's Thursday, up on the balcony.
Hmm.
So we love getting into the city and making things happen. But networking is really important. This is not a staid academic conference. We call it Freedom Fest because it's a festival of freedom. It is like everything. We've got artwork, music, comedy, film, financial, and people talking to each other, interacting. You're going to meet people that are interesting, that have like minds. They might have some different perspectives you learn from, but these are people, these are going to be your peeps. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's gonna, and the other cool thing is that we don't have a lot of those fly in, fly out speakers. The
Hmm.
speakers come because they're dedicated and passionate. So they hang out. Like you'll see C. Forbes up on the main stage, and then you'll go to a breakout session and he's sitting next to you because he's interested in the medical technology health session that's being talked about. So you're like, "Hey Steve, well, how's it going?" He's like, "Nicest guy in the world." And he'll be like, "Hey, how's it going? What about this session?" Pretty cool, right?
Hmm.
Like it's we all are in this together, and we all have something to contribute to freedom. And that's why the mission of Freedom Fest is to have this one time and one place where anyone who cares about freedom can come together to share, learn, network, and grow the liberty movement together. That is the goal. And whether you're a speaker, there's something for you to learn. If you're an attendee, there's something for you to share. It's awesome.
Dates.
Yes, July 12th through the 15th at
Hmm.
the Renaissance Convention Center, right on Main Street, a few blocks down from the top of Beale. And we do have a special local rate for anyone from Tennessee and Mississippi and Arkansas, since we're over on that side of the state. It's a lower rate. We're already giving a discount, but I'm going to give an extra discount to everyone who's listening today. If you go to our website, freedomfest.com, click register now, and click the local rate when it gives you the attendee options. Click local. And at the end, put in local 50, and you'll get an extra $50 off your attendee pass. So just
50.
local 50, no spaces, doesn't matter if it's capitalized or not, but LOCAL50 for an extra $50 off. Because we would love to see all the people from Tennessee who, love freedom and are interested in the entire experience of freedom to come out and check out Freedom Fest while it's in your backyard instead of coming all the way to Vegas or wherever.
Yeah.
It's
So
here.
register at freedomfest.com.
Yeah.
You guys can see that
Throw
scrolling.
that
I got so many whiz bang widgets on it. This is a new piece
I
of
love it.
software, so I'm just discovering all the cool things. Anyway, yeah, so we got a discount code there. Freedomfest.com is the URL. Yes.
Yep. And it's already, and it isn't already, we already reduced the rate for you. So you're getting the absolute best deal that's out there.
Well, great. Valerie, it was fun talking to you. Do I get a comp ticket?
Absolutely. You better come. Just do interviews from our media row. We call it the free press.
I'd love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that offline.
We'll talk offline. Love to have you there.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll be sure to push readers towards this.
Please, would love to see you there.
And yeah, thanks so much. Great chatting with you.
Have a great day.